Hey,
Squad.
it would be so much better. Squad. How you guys doing?
I'm really tired.
Okay.
I'm litty like a titty.
Nice. Swell as hell.
Yeah. Hey.
I
What
don't
up?
like that
What up?
that much.
Whatever.
What about how you doing, Jess?
I'm still thinking of a good one. Over here just diddling my No.
Whoa.
Cut that out.
Nope.
Nope. It's there forever. It's gonna be on the internet. And the internet.
Can we
that's on
just-
there.
Literally, your like great grandchildren are gonna know
gonna
that you
see-
said that.
Oh, dude. Did you see that post that I sent you?
No, I don't,
About,
I don't
like-
read your post.
Okay, I know you don't, because you don't care about me. I'm not that important to you.
Instagram
No,
doesn't
so-
like tell me that you make posts
No, so what?
because you're not important. I'm just kidding. I love you, Benny.
No, you
Just kidding.
So this dude was kind of making a good point where he was like basically telling people to be like very careful about what they put up. He's like, because you know, because like, what if we use that as a measurement into your lineage? Like people's parents start like looking into this and be like, this person does this, he does that,
Yeah.
and so they start like molding based around like what you do on social media and how you portray yourself and like how that's going to affect things,
They
because
already
it's on
do.
there forever.
I worked for a place that said we reserve the right to check your social media and can check your Facebook page whenever they like and check your Instagram to vet you. People get fired for posting shitty things on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
What if we like had a social media caste system where like
Black Mirror,
where they like go like, let's say you're born and then they check your like grandfather's like social media and like that determines like if you're cool or not.
That episode,
Well, that's what he was kind of talking about.
and that episode of Black Mirror where the girl couldn't get the right apartment if she didn't have the right amount of followers and likes. She couldn't be a maid of honor at her friend's wedding because she didn't have enough likes, and she kept losing likes as she went. And she got there and she like had a mental breakdown because she didn't have enough followers, and everybody was like, "Oh, she only has to just get her out of here." It's fucking crazy.
Dang.
But I've been to like fitness expos where people are like, judging people about how many followers. People only hang out with other people with X amount of followers. So lame. But yeah.
Speaking of follower account, are you guys following the Tati and James Charles biz?
I don't even know who the fuck
What is that?
I like seen in passing on different like YouTube channels of what's going on. I could honestly give a shit
It
less.
is the craziest downfall of a YouTuber. I wouldn't even say downfall. It's just like that kid lost like 3 million followers in 2 days.
What
day?
did you do?
What is who? What is this?
Girl who was his mentor who got him from like
Got him.
he reached out to her apparently and like wanted to be like mentored or what. I'm screwing up this whole story, but basically her title was bi sister, meaning like I don't want to be a friend anymore, and she gained like 2 times the following she already had. She already had 5 million followers. She has like 10 million followers now after that video.
You gave me nothing. You gave me
Makeup. It's about makeup. I don't even know anything about makeup, but
it's really not important. I'll give you the quick thing. So he's a young kid getting into like makeup and stuff, and this established woman basically brought him under her wing and basically helped him like grow his own business. Now he's like a YouTube makeup artist. And then so there's some drama that went down at Coachella where he basically went on Insta and like did an ad for a company that is her rival, and she saw it and got upset and basically like made a public video saying that like, oh, blah blah blah, all this shit, creating all this drama, and then there's just a shit ton of drama. It's really fucking dumb that anyone
how do you
gives a
know
shit.
so much more about this than I do?
Because I watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why
I don't give a single fuck.
Yeah, let's
Not
move
even
Why
on.
were you
a
judging
little
me for it?
Fuck, man. Honestly, this is why everybody is starting to suck.
I'm plugged in, dude.
Yeah, I'm tired in, dude. I'm just dialed into what's going on.
I'm just plugged in, man.
I'm just dialed into the culture.
Yeah,
bro.
I got a finger on the pulse, dog.
You know that part in Billy Madison where he's like, everybody in this room is now dumber because of what you
that's
just
how I
said.
feel. I feel
That's
like,
exactly 100% how I
It's-
feel.
Well, I didn't bring it up.
Yeah. You got to watch us on YouTube to see your face. It was good. Anyway, guys, how's it going? Jesse, you just got back from Florida. What's going on, dude?
Yeah, bro. Just got back from Florida. I visited my father with my brother. It was cool.
Do you want to tell can you tell like the real story, like the background to that, why you going to see your dad is cool, or no?
Yeah. Well, it's the first time I've seen him in over 3 years, since I got sober. And, yeah, so, I mean, I've been developing a relationship with him for a while now, pretty much since I started getting sober. Is like I started realizing, that everyone that is in my family, you know, that I want to have a relationship with them, especially my father, who our relationship wasn't always the best. So I got to go visit him in person. It was really cool hanging out, you know, with my brother, my dad, and like just like the three dudes. We're all like adults now, you know, so it's different from like when we were years ago when we were both still like pretty dumb and young. So it was cool to like hang out as like three adults. I learned that I was Spanish.
Hey.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club,
yeah,
boy.
Yeah. So it's funny because I was talking about 23andMe and I was like, I still really want to do this.
You said that you thought you were.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you said that to me.
So remember I told you the thing about like how the Spanish Jews had to leave Spain and they went to Turkey. So that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
My great grandfather was like from Spain. And then they emigrated to Turkey and then Syria and then Israel, and then my dad came over here. So,
wow.
So I learned that, and I also got to make amends to my father, which
epic.
is fucking huge.
Yeah.
After 3 years.
After 3 years.
I want to get closer to your mic.
So I've talked about this before, but that 6 month, that 6 months sober or 3 months sober fucking amends. It's cool. It's cool. Like, you know, it's like, okay, like they're like, okay, I see he's trying to clean it up. But when you think about all the wreckage you caused, and like for me, I only speak from my experience, I was a piece of shit for so long. And then to make amends at 3 months, they're like, dude, that was 3 months ago. That was like not a long time ago. So I made, you know, I was able to make amends like initially, like acutely to the people around me. But then when you stay sober for years and you're like, hey, it's been 3, 4, 5 years now, and I'm a different person. And now they're like, okay, you know, because at 3 months, they don't know if you're going to stay that way or not. They actually probably think you're not going to stay that way. That's more likely to them. So it's when you get to do it at 3 years sober and like say like, hey, this is who I am. And then we get to know our families like this. My family doesn't know me this way. My family doesn't know me as a dad or as even a responsible human. They've never met me this way until the past 5 years. So it's cool to like reconnect as adults, you know, and get to like clear the side of the street as from a completely clear head, not just like a fog of trying to save your ass, you know?
Yeah. I personally had to try to make amends multiple times to the same people just because, you know, so early in recovery and sobriety, I'm still trying to like figure out how to be a better person. But in that process, like I still have old behaviors and old habits, and it's very hard to like be apologetic for it and then continue that same behavior, even though the root like thing that kind of like magnified all of those like character defects, as we call them, was drugs and alcohol. Just still with the absence of that like character defects, they're fully still there.
Yeah, they're fully still there. Fully still there. It's I was talking to literally Benny yesterday. You know, I get discouraged because sometimes I'm still such a gross human. That's the best way I could put it, is because I don't think I'm a bad person. I just have like gross behaviors that don't align with my values anymore. You know what I mean? There's sometimes I'm jealous or resentful and or manipulative. I'm like, ugh, like I'm not this person all the time, but this still comes out, and then I get really upset about it. I'm like, fuck, man, why aren't you better by now? You know what I mean? But you know, I always say, and I've said this to Jessica 1,000 times, it's 10 miles into the forest, 10 miles out. I didn't get fucked up. I didn't like fuck my life up in 5 years. I fucked my life up over 20 something years. So it's going to take more than just a little work and a couple years to heal it. But what we're fortunate enough to do is to spend now the rest of our lives building it on a foundation of personal development and growth. Like for us, we don't have the luxury of not growing and becoming better. So I always remind myself, I'm at least I figured this stuff out in my 20s. I don't, because more power to the people you change whenever you can change. You know what I mean? If you have to get sober at 50, or if you have to have a drastic life, shift at 50, which I probably will have another life shift at some point, but I'll have multiple. When no matter when you get to change, but I'm very fortunate that I get to do a lot of this stuff now and like build my family on that foundation of like transparency and communication and build it now, because fuck, man, I would hate to like have to start that process much older. Very lucky.
Yeah, at least, I mean, like a month from now when you get loaded again, your family's going to get stuck with the core values.
I'm high right now. I'm high right now, guys. I've been shooting dope for about 3 weeks.
Oh, man. I'm like 6 miles in, 6 miles out. So I'm almost 4 miles out. So
okay, you're good. Once you finish, once you're done, you can start getting high again. And you're fine.
And then you just restart. And
once you get out of the forest, then it's like, oh well, there's not
Find
much
a new
going
forest.
on.
This is
back
boring as shit. Back in the forest. It's back in there. It's lit
Just
in there.
fucking open land. Fuck this shit. I'm
maybe
going back
this
to the
time I
forest.
found the jungle or
What's
something.
west of Westeros, right?
Yeah, dude.
Hey.
Well, now you bring it up.
No.
Hold on a second. Hold on. This dude was the biggest hater, and then comes over to my place last night to watch the series finale, and he's like, oh, this is lit.
No. That's not what I said. You know what I said? I think I got it. I think I don't need to see not one other episode. I think I get
From 0 to season finale.
From 0 to 10 years of you guys have been wasting your time for 10 years. I watched one episode and I got the fucking point.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that.
No, you didn't.
Dude, I know that one lady's hot, and that's cool.
He's
and
talking about Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah. But anyway,
She looks like a child. I think the redhead is.
Oh,
Most
Sansa.
of them look like a child.
Sophie Turner.
Children.
there's
Yeah.
the actual child, the one who's like a little kid. She looks like Zabumafu, and I wish we could bring up a picture of Zabumafu. We're not there technologically, but I will make
Once we get this,
You know,
yeah,
you know. All right. So you want to know something funny?
What's
She's
up?
actually a year younger than that.
She
redhead.
actually played Zabumafu. Is that what you're gonna say?
No,
Zabumafu.
I don't even know who that
she's
is.
a
Who
year
is that?
younger. Zabumafu? You never watched
You don't know?
Zabumafu?
Okay, but,
that explains a lot.
yeah, makes sense. What kind of childhood you had? Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I was about like fucking Arthur and fucking.
Dude, me too.
Dude, it was on PBS. It was on KPBS.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Zabumafu.
Yeah,
it's about a
Zabumafu.
lemur. It's about a
It's a
lemur.
lemur.
And they had a real lemur that would jump around, but then they had this puppet lemur, and the dudes were real weird. And it was
you would learn
it was a
about
trip.
animals, about Earth, and
It was a trippy
everything,
ass
dude.
show.
It was the best show
But
ever.
the girl from Game
He's talking about Arya.
She looks like a lemur. That's
Dude, what'd you think about Jon Snow's ending?
Oh,
He pet the doggy, and apparently that's a really big thing.
Yeah,
I was happy with that.
he got the
So
dog
yeah,
back.
he came back. He came back to hold on. So yeah, he came back to Ghost. Thank God.
Yes, sir.
Do your parents know?
Well,
Did you
dude,
come out to your parents?
Dude, I have a ghost on my shoulder, dude.
He does. He straight up has Ghost right there. All right. So okay. So okay. All right. I'm gonna pull in Eric. Okay.
Just real
okay.
quick.
So let me. Okay. So I'm just gonna say.
This is a boomafoom.
That's our. What's
It's
her
just a
name?
lemur.
That's a boof. Yeah, that's
Arya
her. That's
Stark.
what she looks like.
That's right.
Dude, that
Put her
looks
to
just
the
like
camera.
her.
Arya looks like a lemur.
No, that's so funny.
You know what? At first, I kind of thought John got did dirty, right? Because like it's almost like there was no point to him then like revealing to the reveal of him actually being Aegon Targaryen, except for just to create a little bit of tension between him and Dany.
Yeah.
But I think the ending kind of fits him. He's never wanted any sort of crown. He's never wanted anything of that nature. Like he's a Northman, and he's been.
Was somebody talking?
Oh my god.
What happened?
Oh my god. If we were talking about lame ass New York stuff, Eric would be all over it, dude. But anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so he's a Northman. So I think, and Tormund was kind of right. He said, "You're a Northman, the true North." And I mean, you know, I think it suited him pretty well in the end.
I agree.
To pretty much join the Wildlings and to rebuild.
Yeah, he's the J dude.
He
And
is.
his best.
So,
I think his best time was being up north.
up
Like
in
he
the
loved
north.
that shit.
Yeah. Dude, are you gonna put that on vibrate or?
Nah,
No?
I can't.
Anyways, yeah, Game of Thrones is over.
So overall, though, how did you
Are they
feel?
still talking about it?
We're talking, dude. This is a wrap up of a decade of pop culture here. We're wrapping
Yeah.
something up that was super
All right,
important.
All right,
Okay.
all right. I'm gonna
Okay,
take-
all right.
My
So
girlfriend,
this one.
she's
So with
listening to
this
the
one.
audiobooks of it because she was so disappointed with the like television season. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do
Anyways.
this one. Cool. Get out of here. So we'll do this. All right. So how did you feel how it wrapped up?
I liked like the cleanliness of it. Everyone's like, oh, everyone's got their own little thing, and everyone's like together and blah blah blah, and it's like seems very neat. I just feel a little like empty in terms of like you're following these characters for years, and they have all these like intricacies, and then like the creators just kind of like, all right, wrap it up. It's like time to go, and it just seemed like very.
Well, they're trying to get
Very
onto that
rushed.
Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
boy.
Which it is what it is, but it's a beautiful fucking story. It's extremely
Yes.
entertaining. I mean,
They took an entire decade to build up Daenerys, and then in 2 episodes, all of
Yeah.
a sudden, it just destroys the backbone of her entire character.
Yeah.
And then you're just left there empty
Yeah,
and
but there was
unsatisfied.
foreshadowing to her going crazy throughout
little
the
bit,
entire
but-
series.
Were they?
Yes.
I don't know. I only watched 10 minutes of the last episode.
That's
I've just
my-
been
that's my-
overhearing the conversation.
See,
So
that's why she's my best friend, because she has her life together and she doesn't need, I don't know, whatever, dude.
word.
Word.
yeah, Jess.
Yeah. Thanks.
Love you.
Anyway, guys.
Anyways, my total synopsis of Game of Thrones: the dragon burned down the throne, so there's no more Game of Thrones.
Well, technically, yeah, the game is over.
See,
Game is over.
that was the one part I didn't like. Who gets the dragon? I was like, does he get? That
The
was
dragon's free, dude.
See, that's bullshit. I
I
want
thought the dragon was gonna die.
get
honestly.
the honestly, like, dude. I want.
I
the
kind of
dragon.
felt like Drogon kind of had to almost die.
Well,
Benny-
to like balance out the ice and fire,
Yeah.
like
Benny
ice is
said.
dead,
Benny
fire
said
needs
he
to
was like,
die.
I'd kill my wife for a dragon.
What?
And I was like, dang, Benny.
No,
Dude,
no.
Benny.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
I was like, dang, Benny. Like, you would kill your wife for a
Dang, Benny.
dang, boy.
That
Savage.
was a question. No, yeah. He's like, would you kill your wife for a dragon? And I was like, nah. He's like, dude, come on, it's a fucking dragon. And I was like,
Yes,
yeah.
but is it your dire dragon?
What would you do with a
Or is it
dragon
just a random dragon?
nowadays, though?
dude, I don't know, but
Dude.
imagine rolling up on
Dude, fucking one heat-seeking missile, game over, dog.
I don't know, but imagine, dude,
This is not what I wanted this podcast to be. Talking about dragons. What would you do if you had a dragon now, bro?
Yo, but check,
There's nuclear weapons, dude.
But dude, imagine rolling up on hella bitches with a dragon.
Yeah,
Oh my god, you shouldn't call women bitches.
yeah, dude.
It's on the internet.
Imagine rolling up on hella ladies
Hell-
with a
on
dragon.
hella
ladies.
gals,
On hella gals.
fine gals.
On hella fine independent
Girlies.
women.
I
don't know if I like
just say
girlies
girlies.
I don't know.
No, you should just say girlies.
Okay,
Just do
so
it,
let's
please.
move on because it died now.
Oh, all right.
Well, you died.
Jess, how have you been?
Yeah,
over
I
the
haven't seen you in
last
fucking forever.
2-3 weeks.
So I've been diving like head deep into my new position, and it is so much fun. It is so fulfilling, like putting my best qualities, like regarding like worth ethics and whatnot, into actual like fruition. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually creating things that are going to be impactful and be. It's a real thing. I don't know how to explain
Very
it, but
cool.
it's just a real thing. Like I'm sure that's how you
you're-
felt like with this like idea and this concept. All of a sudden, like here we are with material things.
Yeah.
I'm like in the process of making like different positions and making my own position. It's just so much fun. Cause also like the job duties like that I get to do are like data analytics, and that's what I love to do. I don't know why I like to do it.
Yeah, I wonder
I just
why.
found out why I did. Or I just found out that I did like recently. So that's been very fun. Been hanging out with, Evelyn and
Who?
my girlfriend Evelyn.
Hey.
Yeah, she and I been doing really good. We have 9 months together almost
Aw.
on the first.
It's a baby.
It's a whole baby.
We don't want a baby.
But
Yeah.
but you've been together. Oh, you get it.
Yeah. Anyways, things have been really good. Things have just been really good.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about everybody else?
What about you, Eric?
Young, black, and broke. You know how
money.
we do.
Gang.
No. I feel similar to Jess. I'm creating. That's what brought me into like that's what I enjoy about the entrepreneurial space. Coaching people. That's the easy part of my job. That's the easy part. The fitness and nutrition stuff, I stay up on new research. I'm, highly qualified to do the job. I know what the fuck I'm doing. That takes me very little effort because it's the work that I do. But creating things and moving the things around to every week to have this podcast go up and then posting about it and look, this is what we're creating and it's here. And this is not only what we're creating, but it's ourselves. We've created ourselves and we're presenting ourselves, which is just very gratifying to do that because it's not like we were like this a couple years ago. We were not like this. So we've built ourselves up as human beings, and now we've built this thing up and we're presenting it. And now, YouTube's coming up. We're getting a lot of good feedback. So creating this, and then, my company, we just rebranded it. It's Big Mood now, and that's where my coaching is. The podcasts are under that. We're doing workshops and health fairs. I'm throwing an event in the next 2 months. So, a networking group for young entrepreneurs in San Diego. So just creating things. That's the fun part. That's the fun part. Like the coaching people, that's part of my job that I can do. It's like eating, but the creating stuff, it's challenging yourself to challenging myself to align myself spiritually with what I want to put out, because I'm not just saying like, here, this is my job. Before I make any, even before I make a video or post anything, I meditate to start that process. Cause I'm like, okay, whatever I'm putting out into the world has to come from inside and be like a real thing. So I know it seems like, oh, it's just just creating this, just making a video, but I'm really trying to put positive energy into it. So that process is a lot of fun. That's what I'm addicted to, is the creating, and then seeing it come with the book. The book, didn't take me a long time to create it, but going through the depression I was going through and writing it in that state, and then going through like the layout and all that stuff, and then have the book in my hand, and that is addicting.
Dude, I remember the first time you had even told me about that, how you journaled a format of what you were doing yourself. Yeah. And then having an idea of maybe possibly putting it into a book. And I was just like, oh, Eric, oh. And now I have the books.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good segue to what we're trying to talk about, but I do want to hear how you've been this last week.
Oh.
Quick synopsis.
Yeah.
I've been good.
Anyways, well, let's
That's enough of him. All right, Betty, you can unplug your headphones.
Cool. All right, I'll see you guys later. You guys can finish this up without me.
So, Benny.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, no, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Oh, okay, bye.
Oh, come back.
I'm good. My wife's out of town. She's in London.
Oh, he trips up all of a sudden. My wife's out of town.
No, it's actually the opposite. He's actually super.
Yeah, I miss the shit out of her, dude. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It gets, dude. I don't know. Sleeping is it's not, when you're so used to sleeping with your significant other in bed. It takes a little bit longer to fall asleep now, and I mean, she's gonna be gone for 10 days. So I don't think we've ever been apart for 10 days like this before. But anyways, yeah, I just miss her, dude. I miss her. And I called Eric, or we talked the night that I dropped her off, and I was already yo, dog, I miss my wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, I got stuff to fill my time.
You did fishing this weekend, right?
Yeah, I fished in the bay, fished for some saltwater bass Friday night to 1:30 in the morning, and then I dropped my wife off the next day. So Sunday I was real tired.
Oh.
And sat in LA traffic all day long. Actually that was really good though.
Why is she gone?
Because she wants to get the fuck away from me. No, she's out there.
Checks out.
My bad.
All right.
Oh, you guys are that serious. I guess I have a lot of the. I guess it says a lot about.
How does that make you feel, Benny?
It makes me feel sad. I already said that.
Oh.
Are you paying attention?
No.
Just kidding. No, she's out there with her mom. They're going to London, then Scotland.
Oh, wow. Oh, so big trip.
Yeah, big trip. But other than that, things are good. Still working out. Got my ass kicked on Friday. Did some sparring.
Benny's a warrior now. He
Yeah, he's got hands.
He's been challenging homeless people. Yeah. He's been like, dude, you want it, dude? He's like, dude, you want it? I'm like, Benny, chill. Dude. He's
I'm
like,
bringing back bum fight.
yeah, he's trying. So I'm trying to fight 2 homeless. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
No,
Take 1 boxing class. Take it easy.
He's such a hater, dude. No, other than that though, everything's good. I have no complaints. Work is good. This is good. Life is good.
Life is
so
good.
Eric, you were sharing a little bit about your why.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
That's something that we wanted to talk about.
So I was at hold on one second. I was at a meeting this morning and I'm fucking doing my Eric Manic thing where I'm just like passionately talking about what I do and like what I love to do when I'm, just being my weird self. And he finally asked me like the last question. He said, what's your why? What's your big why? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, 'cause I'm fucking crazy. I'm fucking sick, dude. I'm so sick. And really I've spent time nurturing sickness, right? Whether it was drug addiction, I nurtured that, or even through bodybuilding, I nurtured my ego there. I did a ton of performance enhancing drugs and fucked with that. And then I had this sex addiction. I went off the end on that, and I nurtured that, and it fucking hurt me and it hurt other people, and I was just not the best version of myself. And it was gross. That gross version of myself I talk about, I've seen myself in those states, and it's not a way I like to be. So what I do now is I take all of that energy I have there into creating something the complete opposite. The meditation videos I make, those are things that I was meditating on minutes before I went through my whole practice, and I said, okay, this is what is really on my heart. Every morning, I before I put any energy into the world, I take some time to get like aligned with myself. So now that's why I do all the stuff that I do. Why is health the avenue, fitness and health the avenue I go down, is because I think, and I just figured this out recently, fitness is a great vehicle to get you into the self-improvement, personal development space, right? For me, I started working out. I got a little bit more confident, because when I got sober, I had no confidence. I had the opposite. I hated myself to such a deep level that working out was like, I feel good, and I'm starting to get muscle, and people starting to notice, and it felt good, and it worked, and a little bit of ego is good for you, right? They talk about the positive ego and the negative ego, and fitness, getting fit and getting looking good in clothes is good positive ego, which leads to self-esteem. So I use fitness as an avenue to then open the door into the personal development space. So that's what it did for me, and that's why I coach people, and that's why the fitness is the thing that you sign up for, but what you end up hopefully is a shift in mindset. That's what I'm coaching. So that's my why, is because I know how fitness became the vehicle for me to do what I'm doing right now. This podcast came, if I didn't start working out five and a half years ago, I wouldn't be able to do this podcast right now. So it became the avenue for me to develop as a whole entire human being. So that's why I focus on fitness primarily. Life coaching sounds cool, but I think the immediate gratification that people get from seeing results is a great affirmation. It's a great, so that's why I coach, and why I create this, do podcasts and books and all the shit I do, is because, like I said, I've nurtured the worst parts of a human, like all the gluttonous and the fucking, the selfishness and self-centeredness, all that. I've nurtured that, and I know what it looks like for me. And I don't like that I don't like that version of myself. It actually feels just as shitty as it did when I was using dope. It's that shitty. It actually feels a little more shitty because you don't have drugs to blame it on. It's actually you. You know what I mean? It's actually, this is me. I can't blame this on heroin or fucking alcohol. I did that,
It's like that meme with Spider-Man, and he's just like in the mirror, it was you the whole time, and it's him.
Yeah, exactly. It's and I had that moment. I've had moments like that in my sex addiction where I look in the mirror and be like, oh, dude, what are you doing, man? And after feeling like that, all the energy, here's what I truly believe. And with coaching people, here's what makes it work for the people who are ready for it to work. All that shame and guilt you feel about, not looking good in your clothes, or even your overeating and your binge eating and your eating disorder, all that negativity you feel, that is energy. That's you. You're using it like in depression. I'm using energy to be depressed, right? So I when I was looking in the mirror and I didn't like that, I was willing to do whatever someone suggested to not feel like that anymore. And I'm literally doing that with people coaching in their fitness. How ready are you to be fixed, to be well? How ready are you to be better and to do something different? Because all that negativity can be used to propel you forward. Look, we're creating stuff all based off of, this came out of a depression. This, all the stuff that we're doing that, that I'm working on came out of a depression. So that's my why. It's, I'm sick and I want people to help people be less sick, and I want to help people use all that shitty emotion to be less sick. That's it.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, and I think it's really cool how you broke that down and saw that like the physical fitness was like the pathway to spiritual growth and personal development, because you get that like feedback, you get that like result, like it's something that you can visually see.
Yeah.
And I feel like same with me, like when I start just like feeling better about myself, then it's like it gives me the motivation, the confidence to explore like deeper levels. Because if I didn't have that initial like, oh, this is like working and like this stuff is like really good for my like psyche and my mental health, then it would be like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So to see that physical like, oh, this is changing my life and how I feel, then it encourages us to like do other personal development things. So I definitely identify with that.
I was always kind of into personal development on some kind of level, because I knew I had so much more room to progress because of where I was at, where I was all the time, which was just at a shitty level, just rock bottom. And I just kept digging to make rock bottom even more rock bottomy. And so I remember I had motivational quotes on my on the wall. I had motivational quotes on my laptop. I always had something like to kind of like motivate me to just wake up the next day, just to kind of continue like taking like one more foot in front of the other, even though I knew in my mindset at the time when I was was like, I've wasted so much time already. Like, why should I keep going the next day after next day? And I believe like the true reason like I kind of broke out of that is that one like seed of faith or hope, I guess, that maybe one day it will be better. And that's as cheesy and Pinteresty as that sounds.
It's not
like
cheesy, bro.
That was the one, like, if I didn't have that, and honestly, like I've lost complete faith and hope multiple times. And whatever you want to call it, divine intervention, coincidence, or whatever the case may be, I've had those like gifts, I guess, those enlightening moments, those small mental shifts that came from out of nowhere, seemingly out of nowhere. I remember walking out in the morning. It was like 5 a.m. at rehab, and it was just like sunrise, and like everything was like so beautiful. It looked like I was like on acid. I swear to God, everything was like pink and like light yellow, and everything was just glowing. And I remember that morning specifically because my insurance was ending. I was getting kicked out. Everything bad was happening. And I just felt this overwhelming sense of like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And it's okay. Like I just had that feeling, and it was the most peaceful moment that I've ever had. And literally that day, the rehab had extended my stay on a scholarship. Not only that, they gave me, or the lady who was like fighting for me, basically, she got me the scholarship to Soledad. So my insurance, like, fuck the insurance. They just gave me scholarships to fucking get sober. And even with those chances, like, as you guys know, like, I still relapsed in that program. That didn't lose, like, or I guess, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but after all those times of losing faith and getting it again, losing faith, getting it again, something kind of just turned the switch on in my head. It doesn't matter where I was at. I just didn't want to be there anymore. And so anything else was better. And just moving with that kind of flow, anything else was better than where I was. things just kept getting better and better and better. And I didn't stop it either. You know, my life today, why I, you know, feel like I can wake up today with like a smile on my face basically is because like knowing where I've been to what I have now, who I am now, and what I'm able to create now versus like a black hole, like just sinking into itself. That's what it felt like. I was just taking and absorbing everything and just like dying into myself. And now it's like I'm expanding, I'm growing, I'm, you know, all these, it's just crazy. And as selfish as I still am now, I'm definitely not as selfish as I have been the majority of my life. That's my biggest like identity, I guess, my why to
Dude, that speaks to exactly, whether we know it or not, what we're doing here. But all of the work that, you know, podcasting, what we're doing is sharing that, you know, someone said to me actually today that addicts are assholes. And I said, you don't know enough addicts. You know, addicts who are in their addiction, they're assholes for sure. But to come from where we come from, you know, some people say, they listen to the podcast and it's an addiction podcast. And I think what people are missing is that desperation, everyone experiences it, whether it's your marriage is failing, you know, and that their kids are, you know, getting kicked out of school, getting suspended. Their job is sucking the life out of them. They've been at their job 25 years and they're working 70-hour weeks and they're dying. You know, that everyone knows desperation. Their money, you know, money's tight and they have a bill coming up and they're like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do? And desperation looks different, but what we're doing is we're promoting and selling hope. We're selling hope. If we can come from shooting dope, robbing, stealing, scheming, nodding out at work, crashing cars, getting arrested, doing all the stuff that at least I did that shit. Doing all that stuff. If we can come from that and then do what we're doing now, there's no reason people shouldn't, you know, people can't get out of that job. You know, when you're willing to do whatever it takes to change, then if we can do it, you can do it. And that's what we're putting here. And that's, you know, when it comes to the why, it's like, we're selling hope. That's what it is. All you need is a little bit. You don't need to, there's many times where you're like, where I've been struggling, I'm like, fuck man, I truly don't know. But in the back of my head, it's like, it could be different in the back of your head.
Dude, hope is such an important one to me. Hope is the only thing I could hang on to. And like when I was like 3 days sober, 4 days, a week, 30 days, is the only thing, like the only tangible thing that I can hold on to. There was nothing else driving me except for hope that like I will feel better, I will be better. Because I was going through, like last week I had this like kind of like mini epiphany of like, one thing I was always stuck in was like, man, the world is out to get me. Like, dude, like I just can't catch a break. I just can't do this. Like all these things are going wrong. It's like, I like, if I could just get this one thing, like just be just a little bit better, you know, just like a little bit of a better job, a better car, a better this or whatever. Like I just need to catch a break. Like the world, like it's just me against the world, dude. And like everything's always going wrong and I have no idea why. But now I wake up now and I'm like genuinely happy, right? Like kind of what you were talking about. Like I wake up and I'm joyful. I wake up and I'm at peace. I wake up and I'm ready to go to work.
Dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to go to work. Like, you know, summer's coming up, so that means school's gonna end, and that means like I have to go find something else to do. And so somebody at work was like, we're in the home stretch, so there's only 4 more weeks left of school. They're like, oh man, you know, I can't wait for summer. And I was like, man, I'm kind of bummed. I like work. I love my job, you know, like I love doing what I do. I love you know, taking a part of what I do and like, you know, making these meals for these kids and seeing them happy and doing this every day. Like I could do this every day, right? Not like when I had a job before where it's like a 3-day weekend, like what we got coming up is a godsend, bro. You know, like, oh my God, finally. It's like you're living for those like little breaks, right? But like those little breaks, like it's like, oh, that's cool. You know, like I get a little 3-day weekend and like, oh, the vacations are cool. But it's like, dude, after like 3 or 4 days of being on vacation, I'm like, man, I just want to get back to work.
Dude, I love Mondays, bro.
Yeah.
People are always so bummed. Like I saw somebody say they're like it's
for
Monday. I was like, dude, we
real.
get to start fresh. By Friday, I already fucked a ton of shit up. Monday, we get to start this bitch over. We get a fresh slate. I get to ruin my life all over again.
Yeah, man, but being in this space now though is like, oh my god, dude, like it's honestly like it's a miracle. I honestly never thought that I could sit here and be in this position that I am today. Like, this is gonna sound weird, but I feel beautiful
That's
inside,
weird.
right?
That's
That's
a
super
little
weird, right? And
Eddie,
like
a little. We're gonna need you to go. See, what were you saying?
no, but like, and so to touch on what you were saying, or you and Jesse were saying, like as far as that fitness goes, like I finally got to go down another notch on my belt, right? And I was like,
it feels good, right?
yeah, and I was like, yeah, boy, yeah, I was like, we're
feels
doing
good.
it.
It's
I was
immediate-
like, we're doing it,
Dude. Once you start with fitness, dude, when you break through like the first or second week and you start seeing the changes, you start feeling good, man. Like I said, it's a great introduction to how well life can be. You can get better, and you put the work in. You put one foot in front of the other, and you go 1 day a week, and then you go 2 days a week. And then you go 3 days. Then you start tightening up your diet. And you're like, all right, now we're in it. And before you know it, you're 30 pounds lighter. And you're like, what? Like, man, I can do anything, And even if you gain 10 pounds back, you already lost 30. But I'll just lose it again. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, people get discouraged in the beginning. It's like, come on, dude. You just keep it moving. And that fitness thing gives you hope, man.
You know, when I was explaining it to you when I started boxing about how like I would have anxiety about going that day, right? And like, it's like I would almost look for an excuse to be like, oh dang it, I actually got to do this, I can't go, right? But now, like, dude, now it's like, yeah, it's Monday, or yeah, it's Wednesday, it's Friday, like, dude, we're gonna go and get it, dude. Like, I was excited, and now I'm trying to be like, can I push myself to go another day? Can I go 2 days in a row? Can I go 3 days in a row? Like, how much further can I take it now? Like, can I take on now this other thing? And like, I'm thinking about taking on this other like conditioning course on top of what I'm doing to just like really get it, dude. Because like I think, I don't know if you guys remember, like I got off of my anxiety, my depression medication, and I kind of gave myself that space to like, I'm going to try to do this differently because I feel like I owe it to myself to at least try. And if I'm wrong and I can't do this way, then I'll go back to that. I'm okay with that. And so far, dude, like I really, the results and the way I feel about myself and what doing this has done for me has been way more beneficial to my mental health and my physical health than the 1.5 years of medication that I was going through.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
It's lit, bro.
I've just recently like cut down or tapered off like on my meds too. Not under like any doctor's
that is
supervision.
not fucking suggested.
It's
We
not
don't.
suggested
It really
at
is.
all.
Listening,
But
don't do that.
So what I do, I cut my pills in half and I just rail it. Like,
And I just sniff them. Now I just sniff them, dude. And
and honestly, it's half the dose,
Moderation.
but I get it right to the dome, dude.
It's all about moderation.
So have
it's
you?
all about moderation.
Moderation,
It's
yeah.
half the pill is good. Oh my god, my mom listens.
I did want to mention, because we do talk about like recovery a lot, especially in relation to addiction, because that's part of all of our stories. But what we're trying to push in terms of hope is like recovery in all areas of life.
Exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
that's when you mention like, oh, people say, oh, this is like a podcast about addiction. That is like the furthest thing
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
it.
well-
It's the addiction was our pathway
our
to
desperate-
spiritual
Yeah.
growth and enlightenment. So that's part of our story, but we're not just here talking
Yeah,
about
no.
fucking
No,
addiction.
dude.
Addiction was the way that we all found each other to get together
Exactly.
to like push
And-
this thing forward.
And all we really
people's
did
lives.
was we got honest with ourselves and said, "Hey, we're fucked up." And addiction, the drug part is as we all, us in this room know, it's only a symptom of the nonsense. Take the drugs away, we're fucked up either way, just like everybody else. It's just ours manifests itself into something that can kill us. So we always refer back to that. But like I said, desperation. I know people who hate their fucking job and they're like, fuck, man. Like my partner, she hates her fucking job and she sleeps in on Monday. She's like, fuck, man, I don't want to get up. And it's like, what? So now we're doing everything we can to get her out of there. How badly do we want it? People, their marriage is fucked up. And like, if we don't do something, we're going to lose our family. Okay, let's get to a therapist. go on date. Let's do whatever. You know, desperation is desperation. You know, I do it with the fitness thing. I want people who are truly ready. They're tired of feeling like shit. I want those people, because those are the people who are going to break through. We talk about recovery because it's simple shit that we're building our foundation on, but it's all stuff that can be applied to anyone. Just because we just are speaking the extreme cases and making jokes about the extreme cases because that's our experience. But desperation is not unique to us. Everyone feels it, dude. Even my mom, she felt desperation seeing me. She's not an addict, but she saw her kid fucking up. You know, it's still, she knew desperation. Everybody knows it at some point. And I wish we could all get out of life without it. But, you know, we're all going to experience it in our own place. And what are we fucking going to do about it? That's the point. What are you going to do about it? And that's what we're pushing here is there's hope. There's a solution. Always a solution. Is turning your direction towards that and putting that energy there. You know, that's what I want people to get from this.
The common solution that I'm hearing, like, as of today, is just changing your mindset, shifting your mindset. And the best thing about shifting your mindset, meaning like shifting your entire like life trajectory, like, is that you can change it. And that's the craziest thing. It's as simple as that. You can change it. And it'll change your life. Like when you were saying, Benny, like, you know, life is out to get me and like everything's just bad and all these circumstances. If you change your mindset to life is working in my favor. Always.
Little affirmations, man. Dude, there's that saying that people say, if you turn a wheel on a ship a few degrees, you end up in a completely different destination, right? So that's what it is. That's why I focus with the fitness thing and coaching. It's mindset. Focusing on your mindset, the body will follow. You know, but if you change, and the truest thing in my life, it all takes energy. Feeling bad, like Benny was saying, everything's out to get me. That's energy, dude. And I always tell like sometimes in business, like, and I get frustrated. I got 2 little kids. I get frustrated, and I'll spend maybe a day being like, oh, frustrated. But the next day, what the fuck am I doing? Because you can't waste all that. There's no time in life to waste your energy being fucking miserable. I wasted enough. Jessica saw me waste how many months of my life fucking miserable, and I just don't have that much time anymore.
13.
So 13 months. So now I'm just, you know, that's what I want. Just shift that energy, and it doesn't even have to be extreme. Honestly, a lot of times when that extreme shift happens, it's not sustainable. But it's little tiny shifts in the way you speak to yourself, or the little daily rituals you create for yourself. That book I created is Momentum. Jesse gave me that. I didn't even think of that, but little steps you do every morning to shift momentum towards something different. Little things. It doesn't have to be, I'm starting a whole new diet, I'm going vegan on Monday.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. Nah, dude. Just work out once. Just say, I'm gonna walk. I have a woman, I said, go walk around the park. She was sitting outside the gym. She's like, I got a membership for my daughter. I'm scared to go in for myself. I said, here. She texted me. I said, call me. I said, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to the waterfront and by the courthouse, and there's no one there watching you. It's the middle of the day. Go walk up and down 3 times. Call me when you're done. Get in your car, and that's it. If you can't get in the gym, go walk around. That's it. Just do one. You know, my homegirl Neek says 1% better. Just a little bit better than the day before. That's it. You don't need to make huge fucking life transitions. Those are hard to fucking, you know, maintain. For me, when I tell people who get sober, you have one job. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just don't get loaded. That's your one job. That's how you start this journey. Just don't get loaded. Just go to meetings. That's it. Don't worry about anything the fuck else. And that's how that equates to everything else in life. You want something different, do one thing different every day. And that trajectory is you end up in a completely different, you know, destination.
I used to say on the phones a lot, like, my feet had to go first before my head could follow, because when I think you met me a little after this, I was just eating hot Cheetos, Takis, like energy drinks all day.
But she was riding, and she used to ride a scooter. She didn't have a car. She was, but her legs were jacked. That's how I met her. I was like, yo, you got a fucking quadzilla over here. And she had no car, dude. And she was scooting and Ubering places. She's like, and then I would give her a ride. She's like, can I put my scooter in your trunk? I'm like, yeah, dude, you can put your fucking scooter.
Fucking child.
That's why she's my baby.
I know. It was a good time. But my diets before, like I got stomach ulcers before because they were stress induced ulcers at the time, but they were also a combination of me just eating such shit. And what happened was one of my friends started working at a health supplement company, and he gave me some of those products, and I took that as an opportunity to save money and not spend any money for breakfast and just eat the protein shakes in the morning. And they were just really nutritious, all plant-based. I haven't had a vegetable in years. Okay. And
we're not promoting that either. She's talking about sniffing her meds, not eating vegetables. She's just our friend.
We just know her. And I started to notice, like, after a while, I was reaching for like apples and pretzels and like things that were less grimy. And it was
That's
just
a
such
perfect way to explain it.
That's
though.
perfect.
It
I
was-
haven't heard the word grimy since like
Dude,
2013.
Dude, it was just okay. It was that very small shift in my physical like environment. I didn't even want to get healthier. I didn't even want to lose weight. I didn't want to do any of that. It was just like a matter of like, hey, try this out. And all of a sudden, like, my life just took on a different trajectory.
Yeah.
Just because of that one simple like interjection from a friend. Or
Shout out to Neeks, 1% better. There you go, Neeks. You're on the podcast. Because that's what she talks about, dude. It's literally just a little bit better than the day before. That's all you got to do.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's the important thing is like when we realize that we need to change something, we always want to like come up with this new drastic fucking plan that's gonna like change everything. We're gonna change the way we feel. We're gonna do this huge fucking thing. That's like, I know in my experience, that's setting me up to fail.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I have to like create this like giant fucking change in my life.
Small
I'm setting
victories,
myself
dude.
up to fail, but like even the little things, add one new positive thing a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just one new positive thing in my fucking, my repertoire, whether it's fucking meditation or a little bit of yoga here and there, or just
Walk
like
on the fucking
eating
beach.
more spinach,
Yeah, little
like
things,
fucking
dude. Little things.
little things, dude. And then that's how we build that fucking momentum of like, yeah, dude, this shit feels good. I
And
want to
then
do more.
Before
Yeah.
you know it, you got one belt loop down. Before you know it, you got one belt loop down. You're like, okay, fuck, man, I feel a little something better.
as simple as it sounds to just like change your mindset, like it is the hardest goddamn thing to do, but it is so much easier when you have that crutch of physically doing it before your head's able to follow that. And you started out with working out, feeling good, and then all of a sudden personal development like popped open, and that wasn't because you went into it searching for personal development.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
went into it just to feel a little bit better. Just a little bit better. So Jesse, what's your why, bruh?
Yeah, so my why is I just want to be a fucking student of life, dude. Constantly learning, growing, becoming the best version of myself, and also just leaving a positive impact in the people's lives around me, like on a daily basis. Just trying to bring positivity, love, acceptance, and growth, That's kind of my thing right now. That's where I'm at, like, mentally, is really like shifting my energy. And I feel really good, dude. It's now that I'm becoming aligned with what I am trying to create in this moment. And this stuff too, man, I'm like super stoked about the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't hit me right away, but like now that like we got like episodes going up and
YouTube
like
channel,
shit's
it's
happening,
going.
I'm like proud of this. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like now I want to share it with everybody, Whereas like in the first like week or two, I was like, whatever, it's cool. But like now it's like actually hitting. I'm like, dude, this is fucking awesome that we're doing this.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's good work to put out there, and it's all affirming. It's all affirming, not only for the people listening, but I always try to like put myself in the shoes of the people, whatever audience I have, whoever I'm speaking to, like but this is affirming for myself. The stuff I told Benny yesterday, I literally said, I love what we're doing because it's becoming who I am. Like the positive energy is, there's there's duality. Jess has heard me talk to nauseum about duality. I'm both good and bad. I'm equally both, you know, in life, not equally both, but in life we're the worst of people and we're the best of people. That's why some people murder and some people are
Give babies.
Some people, you know, they're just, we're all those things. We're everything. And before I like I said, I nurtured other pieces, but all the work that we're doing and everything I'm doing right now, I'm becoming that person entirely. And that less and less of the gross Eric comes out, less and less of my character defects are being exposed, because I walk the walk now and I talk the talk. And doing this podcast is just us, you know, talking the talk of what we've actually practiced coming out of here. If I wasn't doing good shit, this podcast, I wouldn't be able to speak this shit on a podcast, you know. But that's really, so it's really cool that actually, like, you know, I already had, this is already a piece of me doing stuff like this, but now it's becoming most of me, you know. And it's affirming not only for us, but it's affirming for other people. It's just it's a cool opportunity, man. It's a cool opportunity to create. It's addicting. So
speaking of babies,
oh fuck, I was just gonna introduce that.
Speaking of babies,
ahead,
what's
Jesse.
going on in fucking Alabama, dude?
It's a couple other states too, Alabama,
like Ohio or some
Georgia, I think Kansas.
Like, what the fuck is really going on right now?
Man, they're snatching women's right to choose, and not only removing that right, they're making any action towards that right criminal offense, even if the woman was raped or it was a product of incest.
Insane.
So okay, so Benny and like, this is the second time I've spoke about this in any kind of platform. Everybody's posting about it. Everybody's like, every day, you know what people do, and they just flood it, and they're on their social justice thing. So I'm going to preface this by saying I didn't comment on it for a good amount of time, because I don't want to be like, I didn't want to say anything, because the last thing women need is more dudes saying like what it should be, right? But really what it came down to for me was that I think we all can agree. I think we all can agree this conversation sucks, dude. I think people who who are having abortions, women who are having abortions, they fucking don't like it either. You know what I mean? No one's stoked about it, and it's shitty for everyone to talk about. But I'm just a firm believer that I have no business to tell anybody what kind of life to live. And I have no business telling, especially some female experience. I'll never understand a female experience. I can empathize the female experience. I can say, hey, if you say that is happening to you, I have no choice but to believe you, right? And if all women are saying the same thing, I gotta guess it's fucking true, and I have to just honor that experience. And these measures that are being passed are the complete opposite of that. They're oppressing women as the complete opposite of honoring their experience. They're saying, we don't give a fuck about your experience, all in the name of saying it's the sake of the children. And this is where my only opinion comes in about the matter. The only thing is, if it's about the children, why is the foster care system fucked up? Why are we trying to fuck up a maternity leave for parents? Why isn't a healthcare affordable? Why do we have children living above under the poverty line? Why are after school programs getting cut? It's not about the kids. It's not about.
I saw a stat about Alabama specifically that said, if it's about the children, why is Alabama the 50th ranked state for education?
What it's so heavily on like I think I'm right and you need to do it this way.
Yeah,
because like it's a hard conversation even for you and I to take part of, because you know my background, where I come from, and my involvement within the church. And dude, like, for something like this to happen, even within like my life, it is heartbreaking to see something like this kind of happen. Like you said, we don't like the idea of abortion.
No one does.
Nobody does. But to be honest, like, if something happened between my wife and I, and Like right now our lives are on like a trajectory of like we're in our careers, we're growing, there's so many things that are happening right now that are building our lives. But what it comes down to, honestly, to me, is my personal decision. And for me to impose that on somebody else, it's gross, right? For me, it's grimy, right, Jess? Like what you said.
Grimy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like,
yeah.
Like, and you know, like that I lean, I guess, like what you say, a little conservative.
You lean a little to the right.
A little to the right. And even still, I still hold firm onto I have no say in anybody else's life but my own and my family.
Yeah.
And that is it.
It's interesting. And you know, I, like I said, like Benny was, you know, inferring, I participate, I go to church, I participate in organized religion. And I've seen so many times how religion hurts people. You know, this is somebody else's, these are all, if this is all in the name of Christianity, right? We're literally weaponizing somebody else's beliefs to oppress somebody else. And this is why people hate religion. This is why. Because when I tell people I go to church, they almost give me a face, which I get it, dude. I get it. All this fucked up shit you hear, so like, dude, if you want to be a Christian over there, be a Christian over there. If you want your values if you want your values and your family values to reflect your life, then participate in those values. But once you start telling anybody else what to do, that, you know, it's not going to help your institution. It's just going to, people don't like to be told what to do already. But now you're not only going to tell people what to do, you're going to tell one specific, you know, a whole specific gender that not only if they do if they make their own choice, now you're going to penalize them, not only penalize them up to 99 years in prison. And also there's no talk of the men who are involved, that there's 2 people to make a baby. So, and someone pointed that out to me, like, where's the prison time for men? The woman is only carrying the baby. It's 2 people. So it's so clearly not about the babies. It's so clearly not about the babies. And it's people, you know, taking their beliefs and using it to stifle somebody else's life and criminalize somebody else's life. It's fucking dark, dude. It's dark shit.
Like it also surprises me, like, we haven't learned yet that making things illegal doesn't make them go away.
Yeah, it clearly doesn't.
Well, I completely, in this instance and in most of my thing, the libertarian point of view of, like, if you know, it's just like, let people do what they want with their lives, with their bodies, like whatever, you know what I mean? It blows me away that we're in the fucking 21st century and this is like now a law.
It's wild.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here, dude?
It's
What do you think, kid?
it's just mind blowing, mind blasting. I don't know. It's just how could you, like, okay, there's this meme online, like, just forget about abortions like you forget about the children in foster care.
Exactly.
Like, if you're going to fight for the rights of this soul, of this new human, why don't you fight for the ones that are already born?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. That's all you say to someone, like, okay, so I don't want abortion. Okay, what about the 400,000 kids that need to be adopted? Where in Oklahoma you just made it illegal for same-sex marriage couples, same-sex couples to adopt children. They're able to now discriminate against same-sex couples. So it's not about the children. It's not about the children, and it's not, and it's. If they're poor kids, if they're going to be poor kids, it's definitely not about those poor people. I think 30-something% of people, women who have abortions are white, and 19% are another 40% are people of color, Black and Latino. And it's fuck, man. Actually, I forgot my point, but it's fucked up. Sorry, guys.
Well, this country is founded on freedom, dude. And like now I feel like we're living in a time where like people are trying to take other people's freedom away, which
it's
completely counterintuitive to like what we're trying
All
to do
they're
here.
doing is just making a new like road for women to hurt themselves by going to like doing
Illegal
non-safe
shit,
It's
yeah.
regulated ways to do the abortions themselves.
And it's
Like-
now they've also made it illegal to even travel elsewhere to so you can't even leave your state and do it. You can be punished in the state where you left. So if you're in Alabama and you travel to Pennsylvania to get an abortion, it's punishable by crime as well.
If I put a gun to your head and I tell you go mate with that pig, and now you have a little human pig growing in your belly, and I'm telling you birth it, you have no choice. Excuse me, who
Yeah.
are you to say? Like it also with the whole, and that was my weird metaphor for like rape.
Yeah.
Like you don't want this weird animal creature that was like forced upon you.
Exactly.
I think that's about 100%.
Dude, if
what it comes
Donald
down to.
Trump is tweeting about how this has gone, how this went too far, I think that has a lot to say. But what you were saying about how this country was based on freedom and stuff, it boils down to your personal choice and the consequences that are incurred to those choices that you make on your own. If that's the choice you want to make, there's going to be things that you're going to have to live with that.
And I think the people who are so pro life think that the women who are getting abortions aren't hurt by that. That's a difficult decision. Again, I don't think women who are pro choice, who are fighting for these rights, I don't think they like abortion. And I think people don't get that though. I think people need to know everyone thinks it sucks. You can believe people have the choice to do something that it doesn't feel good to them, but the point is you can't tell a whole group of people not to do a thing because you believe it, and that's oppression. That's oppression. That's literally what it is. And for me, where we're getting right now and what we're seeing is a product of one demographic of people controlling everything. And this is what happens when one group of people says, here's what we believe, everyone's got to do it. And I think the politics of Alabama I don't think reflects the demographic of Alabama. There's one 75-year-old woman, and 25 white men who made this decision. And of course the needs of others were looked over, because simply those people can't affirm the other people's experience, because they just simply can't. They don't try to. I always say that a lot of people, they can't perceive outside their own circumference.
I think this type of terrible things that happen where laws get passed not for the best with the people in mind should really encourage young people to really start getting involved in politics, man, because like we can't be having this kind of shit, and especially as we become the next generation of people who are going to be making these decisions, we have to start realizing that we need to have a voice, and also we need to like really stand for something like bigger and better.
I don't think there's a lack of women who are interested in politics. It is just monopolized by men. You know what I mean?
But that's
Like,
going to slowly change as time goes on. And all these old ass white dudes start dying.
That's
and shit,
I hate to say it like that.
That's
but
what
that's what we need. We need
that's what we're hoping, but they just legalized abortion. Like
we just needed the whole. We needed to look different. And actually, the last midterm elections, we had the most diverse turnout than that's ever been. We have women of color. More black women, more women of color now representing the country than ever before. First Muslim people, representatives, first Native American representatives, a lot of places. So it's happening. Yeah. But, people need to just be, again, tie it all together, how much pain are we in? How much do we dislike this? You know, like my partner, you know, she grew up conservative. She was conservative until recently, but I said to her, I said, we're not voting for us anymore. We're voting. I said, you know, my partner's white and our kids are mixed race. And it's like, now we're voting for these little dudes. You know, you and I can go on not voting and we'll probably be all right. It'll suck. We'll bitch about it. But now we're voting for little kids. And she only started, you know, even talking about, the abortion issue. She's conservative, Christian conservative. And she's like, you can't tell people what to do, you know, like I don't know, man. We need more representation, and we're getting there though. That's the thing.
Just to kind of like level the playing field, because we're all like in this room, kind of on the same size, but besides Benny.
Yes, Betty is pro-life. So, you guys will remember that.
So their argument is quite plain. At the moment of fusion of human sperm and egg, a new entity comes into existence, which is distinctly human, alive, and an individual organism, a living and fully human being. So,
you know, to be honest, what they're saying is that what they're saying is that life begins.
Change it.
No. So what they're saying, I think what Jessica's just trying to put out there is what they're saying is that human life begins once the fusion of a cell and an egg come together.
Really?
Which, okay. Let's which the way I process that is like, okay, even and that's a tough one, because like what I was saying to you earlier is like, and we were talking about that Louis C.K. bit also, is like people believe
you're killing babies, dude.
Right?
If someone told me, yo, they're killing babies, dude, I'd be like, all right, what are we doing? What are we doing about it? Like, if we, you know, people really believe it, so I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. I get like,
dude. Okay, speaking of babies, what do you do when you have a crying baby that won't stop crying?
Shake it.
You put it in a blender. Okay. Now.
All right.
How do you get the baby out of the blender? Tortilla chips.
Oh my God. You're
dead baby jokes. Let's bring that back.
Dude, I used to have hella. But yeah, dude, I think we could all agree. I think we could all agree it fucking sucks, man. But
it does suck. But again, I want to just bring it's just you're gonna have to live with the consequences of your choices, whether they're positive or negative.
Yeah.
And I can't force any of my views, any of the way I feel, or any of the things that I practice onto anybody else, because those things, right? Even within like when we're at church, what those things are for ourselves, right? And we share them with other people because we want them to also take part in this journey that we're taking part of.
Yeah.
But all those things come down to myself.
Dude, even for me in church, and I'll go out and say it, and I have friends who probably don't know this about me, but there's tons of gross shit that all religions have. That I don't think religion in itself is bad, but if you have gross stuff that is gonna hurt people, I'm not playing with you guys. You're not on my team, you know.
I don't want to play with
you. Like, you know, I think of all of us. We're all in the same. I want us all to be on the same team, right? I want, if it's good for Jess, it's, you know, it's good for the whole team. And you know, there's certain stuff in organized religion, not only Christianity but in all, that's shitty for the team. And when I go to church, I go to church similar to what I would go to any temple, and what I do is I have my own spiritual experience. But if there's any words of hate or dissent, I don't fucking want to play, dude. You're not on my team right now, and but I have discernment today, right? I'm old enough to be like, okay, I can keep this, keep this, and, you know, get rid of the rest. But now, when you start putting that on other people outside of your spiritual practice, now you're just creating more people who hate what you're doing. It's not bringing people together. And the goal in United States of America should always be like, how can we bring people together? How can we more healthily represent everyone here? I know it's never going to be perfect, but you know, I'm a firm believer that the way the system we have now it works, but it's silly at the same time. It's not working for a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, we gotta change that ship 1 degree.
Yeah, man.
And it's happening, right? Like you were saying,
It's
that
shifting.
the minority representation within government is happening. It takes a while. We want to see it happen immediately, but you got to have hope and faith in the process. It'll take a while. It'll take a little bit. And there's 4 of us from very, very different backgrounds coming together, and I think this is a more accurate description of what's going on in America now than what we're seeing with old white dudes and a white lady making legislation to impose onto other people. But having these conversations, having us get together and sharing our feelings, and I know you were kind of a little, I guess, leery of having, we were talking, who's like, is it fair to have 3 guys?
I will,
but to be honest, like I think it is fair so that people know that, like, even us, like, we feel that this is unfair and unjust as 3 guys and of course, Jess, to know that, like, we feel that pain as well.
Yeah, dude. We've done podcasts before. We've like prepped and done a lot of them. Not anyway. Me and Jesse and Benny have done. And you know what? There's a thing that people say is like, you know what the problem is, and I don't want to be another fucking dude saying what the problem with the world is. And I was like, should we really speak on this, because it's not my place to say, but also at the same time, I'm a firm believer that if, people of color are oppressed in all different ways, all of our, racial groups, everybody in here, our demographics have been oppressed or are being oppressed actively, and there's women's rights that are affected by that too, and LGBT rights that are affected by that too. And I'm a firm believer that if we really want change in the way the country is represented, we all have to stick together. Like, women's rights don't work if people of color are not supporting women. LGBT rights don't work if Latinos are not supporting LGBT rights. It's always going to be factions. But if we want to change the demographic of our representation, we all have to be like progress the whole way. When people ask me like what my political affiliation is, I'm progressive. It should always be moving forward. Yeah. There's no backwards for black people. 10 years ago, 15, 20, 30, we're not ever going backwards. It always has to be better. And I'm a firm believer that for African Americans, if it's going to get better for us, it has to get better for Latino people. It has to get better for LGBT people, trans rights, everyone has to get better. So when you start oppressing another, segment of the population, it affects all of us. First you do it there, then you start doing it other places. So, it's that's, speaking on it is just a matter of unity. It's a matter of like, hey, I support everyone's rights. Everyone deserves them, and everyone deserves them because I believe I deserve them, and if this is something that means something to them, then who am I to fucking stop any of that shit? And I don't get how that's not a feasible way to view the world. That seems very reasonable, right? Like, hey, you want your rights, you could have them. I want mine too.
I think it's important to, like you said, we're guys, and we don't even know. We don't have the first idea of what it's like to bring a life into this world. But I think it also is important for people to put themselves in the shoes of others. You know what I mean? I know for me, if I can like put myself into the shoes of someone who either is pregnant from someone who they don't want to be pregnant from, they have to like make this decision. I know I would not enjoy someone else telling me whether I can or cannot make that decision for myself. That's just fucking insane. So I think what's happening is these people are not really empathizing with the people that they're governing over. They're just like, yeah, this is how it's going to be because
that's how we believe.
God says, I don't know, like whatever it is.
It's like, insane. Jesse, I'm gonna give you 5 dogs. You have no choice but to take care of them. The financial burden is on you. The stress is on you, and make time for it.
Yeah, because we say so.
You can't kill the dogs either, because that's murder. don't kill the dogs. You can't give them away either.
And you can't give them away. And if you give them away, they probably won't ever get adopted. It's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. That's actually a decent analogy. Not the blender baby analogy. That one I liked.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. Can I plug some stuff?
Sorry. No.
Okay, fuck it.
See you guys
All right.
later.
All right.
Wait,
Fuck, man.
Wait, no, not yet,
All right,
not yet,
plug
not
it.
yet.
all together. One.
All right, so
Wait, plug it.
All right, so follow me at Eric_Big Mood Coach on Instagram. You can go Big Mood on Facebook. Our YouTube channel is Big Mood TV. All these podcasts go
Big
up.
Mood.
All these podcasts go up every week, and obviously like and subscribe. You already have if you're listening. And my website is bigmoodcoach.com. Come check it out. And if you're looking to make some shifts in your life, we're trying to help people break through over here.